Okay, okay. We'll muddle along here. Hi, it's Charlotte Pierce. I'm here, the producer of Ready Row USA, the regular podcast on building the community of rowing and connecting people in different clubs and rowers across the country. So, and programs like the one that is represented by Zoe, the George Pocock Rowing Foundation Middle School Program Coordinator. And we're talking today about Camp Lucy, which is, there's a lot of buzz out there about it. I noticed that Science of Rowing did some fundraising for you. And tell me, like, how you got involved, a little bit about your background and,
so
what you're trying to do with the program this year.
Absolutely. I'll do as much of a nutshell of my background as I can.
I know.
Yeah, so I started rowing in college. I learned to row at the University of Washington and started coaching at my first year after graduation, I coached at the UW for the freshman team as an intern coach before coming to Pocock. And then at Pocock, I worked as the novice girls coach for about 6 years and loved that. And just really loved working with that age group and with girls. And I think I've learned it's unique to love novice coaching, but I always just found it really natural and fun and joyous. So then last year, the new executive director at the Pocock Foundation, Jen Gibbons, decided that she was ready to start this little dream that she's had of a program for girls that's named after Lucy Pocock and honors the legacy of Lucy Pocock, who was a trailblazer for women's rowing. So Camp Lucy came to be, and she sent out the call for people interested in helping build this program. John Campagna, our program manager, and I both applied to work on these new camps, which includes Camp Lucy and our newest program that hasn't really even launched yet, called Discovery Crew.
And you're busy.
Yeah, we're very busy, but in the best way. And
I get it. I mean, it's so exciting what you're doing, and just to see the pictures of the girls at Camp Lucy. It's all for girls, right?
Yeah, so Camp Lucy is all for girls. And in our initial pilot, we did have a more mixed group, which was really fun, and we still learned stuff. And some of the older boys who came to camp still fell in love with rowing, which is great. But we are aiming for middle school girls primarily for this target group.
So you've had one cohort go through, or are there kids that are still in it that are started?
So we've had one cohort. We partnered with the Congolese Integration Network for our first pilot. The full camp will be a 2-week, 10-day weekday camp in the summer. And for our pilot, we did a weekend session. So we partnered with CIN. They sent a bunch of their youth over and 2 of their youth coordinators over, which was really fun. And we ran a weekend version to sort of test the logistics of camp and see how it resonated with the kids, which was really fun. And we learned a lot. And now we're going to host another one next weekend with Seattle Girls School, which is a middle school in Seattle that has a mission that's very in line with the George Pocock Foundation. So we're really excited to work with them and have a little bit of a younger age group and see what different things we learn from that.
That sounds like a good project for the year. It's good, substantial. Get your teeth into that one.
Exactly.
Can I just ask you what where can people get information about it? And is there a URL for the camp? I noticed, I was looking it up, and I found something in Texas, but it didn't look like
I think there's a winery out there that's also called Camp Lucy. I've seen that.
We won't bring that in.
They host lovely events.
So
our information will be on the George Pocock Rowing Foundation website underneath our programs, I believe. So
it's Pocock Found or
PocockFoundation.org.
Okay.
And then I believe it would be / Camp Lucy would be the URL. And that will have right now it has sort of general information, since we're not really doing open recruiting just yet. We've been partnering with other groups to kind of help us figure out how to run it first. And then hopefully we'll be, doing more of an everybody's invited, come sign up thing for our summer programs. we're hoping to do 2 sessions over the summer, one at the beginning of the summer and one at the end. And we're really hoping to increase access for people of color and those facing socioeconomic barriers. So we have,
fantastic.
yeah, we are really like aiming for that and sort of have a goal about how to, you know, how we're going to find those kiddos, involve them in Camp Lucy, give them a great experience on the water, and support them in continued rowing experiences if they'd like to do that.
And what sort of like do you work with the Most Beautiful Thing Inclusion Fund or those folks? And it seems like there's a lot of cross support from people
Definitely.
like that.
Yeah, we've been talking to Arshay and Denise, who work for the Most Beautiful Thing Inclusion Fund, and they've been a great resource and help for helping us kind of figure out some of the things we're trying to solve for our program question marks that we're working through, which is really great. It's wonderful to have colleagues that are so willing to offer their ideas and things that they've learned through the programs they're running.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so what do you need? Like, if there's one thing you wanted to tell people that are listening or will come back and watch the replay on this, or, you know, we're also out on the podcast apps so people can subscribe. And what's the one thing or a few things that you would want to tell them?
Yes.
What do you need from us out here?
Yeah, more than anything, we need funds. Since this program is going to be entirely free for the participants, we really just it's all going to be donor and grant funding. So donate to Camp Lucy. $10 helps, $5 helps, $100 helps. We're hoping to include cost of programming, food, transportation if needed, and really address the barriers that would keep any individual or community member from being able to participate. So it's going to look a little different with each camp. We're going to try to, be cognizant of finding out what a community needs or what a person needs rather than assuming, and help them address those barriers in a way that is good for them. So
yeah, I know one time or a couple of years ago, I interviewed Arshay, and he's always talking about those communities. It's not like they go to swim classes when they're 2 or 3 years old, like my kids did. It's like, or the transportation, or just seeing themselves at a club. It's all those things are, have to be built out at the same time.
Yeah, and I think even from the program logistics side, in our after school programs that we run at the same boathouse at Pocock, we, getting swim tests in is like a big logistical barrier even to run the program in a timely fashion. So we're just not doing a swim test. Everybody, including coaches, are wearing PFDs.
Yeah, I noticed that in the pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good boat safety skill anyway. So I think
the habit of doing it until
I found these life jackets that have nice big arm holes, so it's not that uncomfortable to row in them at all.
No, you can do it. I know people are so snobby about not wearing a what is it, PFD?
PFD, yeah.
Yeah. So just so you're gonna. This is happening in Western Washington.
Yes. Yeah. So,
and do you have any thoughts about, I know it's probably premature, but, expanding it out to all the communities that need it out there?
Definitely at some point. So we're really, as we're building the program in these young phases of the program, we're really trying to document every decision we're making so that we can help teach somebody else how to run it. Really document all of the surveys we're using and the lesson plans we're coming up with. And our hope is that we will be able to deliver this to another community or a boathouse and say hey, you can host Camp Lucy too. And this is about what it will cost to run it. This is the materials you'll need. And we've had such great success with the ErgEd program, being able to teach other programs and communities how to run that. And we really want Camp Lucy to be the same. So we're trying to build it with that in mind, even though that might be a few years down the road to actually be able to do that. We're building it with that in mind right now.
Just think of the Pocock, the ripples that family has had in rowing, and then to come up with something like this that really expands access to the
Yeah.
sport and the benefits of the sport. You know, I know I'm 65. I've got friends that row that are 75, 85. You know, it's just a lifelong
It
benefit.
really is.
You know?
Yeah. And like, I'm feeling so inspired as we work on this to think about the ways that continued participation in rowing can look so many different ways. And for some kids, that's going to mean continuing rowing on the Monday after Camp Lucy is finished. And for some kids, that might mean that they, you know, join a team when they get to high school and they have a team, you know, through their high school maybe, or maybe it's like when they're an adult and their child is looking for a sport, they say, hey, I had a really good experience with rowing when I was younger. You should try that. So
yeah, exactly. Well, let's keep in touch. You know, let me keep me informed about what you're doing, and I'll be happy to get the word out or bring some people together to do an episode, you know, further down the road. And I can always just do special announcements on the podcast. So
great. Thank you so much.
We really love having you, and we love what you're doing. So let's all support you, support the George Pocock Foundation. So appreciate you coming on and having this quick discussion with us. I'd like to invite everyone to you know, be a part of the podcast. We have a new website, readyrowusa.com. So there's like many things you can do there. You can submit your club news, you know, anything you want to publicize about your club or program, sort of like Zoe did with the Camp Lucy. And we also have a gadgets and gear. So if you have a favorite rowing gadget, you can put it there. But readyrowusa.com is the website. And thank you so much, Zoe.
Great. Thank you so much, Charlotte. This was great.
Keep in touch.
We will. We will, definitely.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.